Michael Cohen got knocked around in court because Trump is a mob boss who surrounded himself with scumbags. And then Menendez is blaming his cancer-ridden wife for their stealing of gold bars and their corruption. And then Alito is blaming his wife for siding with the Stop the Steal people, the insurrectionists. The scumbags are ascendant today, and it is deeply disturbing.
Hello, everyone. This is JVL here with my best friend, Sarah Longwell, publisher of the Bulwark. Sarah, before bed last night, the New York Times breaks a big story about Samuel Alito's house running an upside-down American flag in the days in January of 2021. So
is that a distress call? It
is a distress call, yes. Yeah. So this is a universal distress call. It's an upside-down American flag. And while two cases pertaining to the overturning of the attempts to overturn the election were still pending before the Supreme Court. And I don't know, doesn't seem good.
Well, hold on. It used to be I was kind of kidding, because it used to be the universal symbol of a distress call.
Right, and now it's a QAnon thing.
Now it was like a Stop the Steal emblem at the time.
Right.
And
Stop the Steal and Q.
Right. So this comes out, it's a photo, but it's from back when these cases were in front of him in the Supreme Court, whether or not, Trump could send the false electors and everything. And so while that's in front of him, and this is what the thing that's wild about the Alito flag thing, it's just really crazy if you think about it in the context of, at Alito's house, there is an upside down flag in solidarity with the Stop the Steal folks. Over at Justice Thomas's house, his wife is relentlessly texting the Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, saying do the coup harder. Why aren't you cooing harder? And to think that both these gentlemen,
I've got a fever, and the only prescription is more coup.
Yeah, that both these gentlemen did not recuse themselves or were involved in this. A lot of times people talk about the courts lacking. What is it that the courts are discrediting themselves or whatever due to their positions on a board? And I think that's not why people are losing faith in the court. This stuff is why people are losing faith in the court. And there is no mechanism of accountability, and that is, I think, is a problem. It's a legitimate problem now. Norms, we don't have them anymore.
Coming on the heels of the Mitch McConnell maneuvering to take those two Senate seats, the Merrick Garland seat and then the Ruth Bader Ginsburg seat, to then have members of the court who look at that, and if you look at that and don't understand that poses a danger to the legitimacy of the court, then I can't help you, right? If you look at that and just think, hey, that's just hardball politics, nothing wrong with it. Everybody should just put on their big boy pants. I can't help you. That's not how it works.
Are there people saying that? What is the reaction to this?
I mean, the Republican position on the two seats is that we acted according to the letter of the law, so all's fair. Suck it, right? That's okay,
but forget that. Forget that one. To this?
Well, no, but this is what I'm saying. So with that as the backdrop to this, though.
Yeah.
Right. So you have the ground already seated, which I think would impose an extra duty on anybody who sits on the court to really go out of their way to avoid even the appearance of impropriety, right? And to the extent to which Thomas and Alito seem to give no fucks at all about that, and they just hey, the First Amendment entitles me to be able to do. It's like the thing, it's like the McConnell thing. The law entitles the Republicans to do those things, so they get to do them, and the law entitles them, Mitch McConnell to put his flag upside down in his pole. So who's going to stop him? He doesn't have any duties to anybody else.
Not Mitch.
We all have duties to him, you know? And and his excuse is the same as Thomas's. He's oh, my wife did it. My wife did it because she was in a dispute with some neighbor who had an anti-Trump sign. I'm I'm sorry. If you live in the house with a Supreme Court justice, you don't get to play the lawn sign, passive-aggressive political neighborhood fight game. You don't put lawn signs up. You don't put bumper stickers on your car. And is it unfair and an abridgment of your rights? Maybe. I don't know. But on the other hand, one member of the household has a lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court. Right. It is incumbent upon you to simply smile and be friendly with everybody.
Yeah. I know that we demand judicial temperament from the justices. And I think that it's not that it extends to the spouses exactly. Their temperament doesn't have to be exactly the same. They do have to, I think, carry the burden and the honor of the role that their spouse gets to play in our country. It is incumbent upon them to behave slightly above the political fray.
Yeah.
It is, because it's weird. It's on one level, it's this sort of frightening thing, like everybody has lost all sense of decorum. There is no sense of a higher purpose, higher calling, higher expectations. But then on a baser level, you're we expect more out of teachers and cops. You are in the highest, lots of people who have public roles, we expect a little better of. And just because they don't always meet it doesn't mean that it's even just sort of general, the idiot in your town is doing this. The jerk that nobody wants to hang out with that never gets invited over behaves this way. Not a citizen in good standing or a community member in good standing doesn't behave like this. It's all embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, but I got some good news for you. Thomas and Alito aren't going to be on the court much longer. So that's the good news.
Because Cannon's going to replace them?
Because once Trump is back in power, both those guys are going to be replaced by 35-year-old Eileen Cannon types.
Yeah.
So, the truth is, there may come a time in the very near future in which we view Sam Alito, who at least has an intellectual pedigree, whether that's worth anything or not, and who at least has the embarrassment to say that it was his wife who put up the upside down flag, where we look back on that and say, boy, remember the good old days?
Yeah. Can I say on the wife blaming, I don't know if you saw Bob Menendez, disgraced senator from New Jersey.
So explain
he
to
also
me,
blamed
he's
his wife. So his wife had been diagnosed with breast cancer.
And dying. And
I don't know if she's dying. She was diagnosed with breast cancer. But,
okay.
I don't know.
I hope she's not dying.
I also hope she's not dying. But husband and wife can't testify against each other. But they're all putting it all on her. And what is it? What a scumbag. Everybody's a scumbag. So I was on CNN earlier and just going through the stories, and it's Michael Cohen and got locked or got knocked around in court because Trump is a mob boss who surrounded himself with scumbags. And so when they go to testify against him, they lack a certain amount of credibility because they too are scumbags. And then Menendez is blaming his cancer-ridden wife for their stealing of gold bars and their corruption. And then Alito is blaming his wife for siding with the Stop the Steal people, the insurrectionists, while he is overseeing the Supreme Court case. I will say, I do my best. Take the sunny side, be optimistic, see the best in people. But the scumbags are ascendant today. And it is deeply disturbing.
You know what? That's not what disturbs me. What disturbs me is that I think and certainly you, I think you also believe that at the elite level, none of these people actually believe that the election was stolen.
I think Ginny Thomas might. I think she's nuts.
But put her aside for a moment, because I'm going to get to that, right? Okay. At the elite level, it's all just kabuki theater, right? They know it wasn't stolen, but they want power, and they got to say what they got to say, et cetera, et cetera. So you have somebody like Ginny Thomas, who's just an insane person who's also not very smart. She's just...
Yeah.
I'm sorry. She's not a smart person. I've read her emails. And it is disconcerting to see that Justice Thomas might also, a person who we all thought was pretty smart, might also agree that the election was actually stolen. and that Sam Alito's wife might also like actually believe that the election was stolen. Like, these are people who you expect to at least be doing the performance kabuki dance, but it turns out it's like they're reading the Epoch Times and just nodding along.
Yeah.
That's disturbing, right? As we move from everybody just playing a role to people just, they've faked it until they've made it and actually believing, everybody becoming a true believer. That's not great. It's not great. All right, you wanted to talk about the big Marjorie Taylor Greene throwdown in the House yesterday.
Speaking of crumbling institutions, sorry, go ahead.
No, I tried listening to this and I couldn't quite follow it. Tell me all about it, Sarah.
Okay, so there is a congresswoman named Jasmine Crockett, and Marjorie Taylor Greene was attempting to be awful to her and criticize her, and she started making fun of her fake eyelashes. And by the way, this is in an oversight headed by James Comer, by the way, one of the most useless members of Congress, the one who keeps trying to say that the smoking gun is just around the corner on impeaching Joe Biden. All right, so this guy's his committee. Marjorie Taylor Greene starts, go find the audio of this. It's so insane. She starts saying something about fake eyelashes to Jasmine Crockett, at which point AOC goes in to defend Jasmine Crockett and is actually sort of trying to call a point of order to Comer to say, like, I want this put in record, what she's saying. She's attacking somebody personally. Marjorie Taylor Greene, though, is like mocking her while she does that, like taunting her and
Did
going,
I hurt your feelings?
Did I hurt your
Right?
feelings? And
So,
so
yeah.
all of a sudden AOC kind of breaks into like, oh, girl, you don't want this, like kind of hits with that. And so it devolves from
Jenny
there.
from the block.
And then Jasmine Crockett calls Marjorie Taylor Greene like a butch-bodied builder. I mean, like, they just are trading the nastiest insults. They're yelling at each other. And then Comer, it's not funny. I'm not laughing. But then Comer, like, he's looking around and he's like, I'm sorry, but I'm very deaf and my hearing aids aren't working. And I didn't understand a word any of you ladies said. And can somebody repeat that?
I don't understand women.
Yeah, it is, and I would say it was not a shining moment for women, but as you may recall, there have been another number of instances on the House floor recently. One member called one of the guys called another one tubby when they were fighting over the speakership, I think. There was also the fisticuffs came to during the 15th round of
Not between a
McCarthy's.
Democrat and a Republican, but between
No.
Republicans.
All the
This is
Republicans. And so I just, you elect clowns, you get a circus. This is what is happening in Congress right now. Like on one hand, again, this is, you can sort of take it on one hand, if you watch this clip, it's so stupid and so like they're like 10-year-olds that you sort of want to laugh, but it's not funny. It is chaos there, and there is it is the result of, now we have all these incentives for this performative do nothing Congress that just does this for the cameras, and it's so embarrassing. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is there to incite all of this. Like, I mean, now I'll just
That's her
stick
job.
with the 10-year-old theme, right? Like, she started it and she goes so low. It's so disgraceful. I mean, obviously she's a terrible person. Obviously she's not a bright person. But thanks Kevin McCarthy for elevating her and acting like she's a serious legislator. You suck, man. I just, the more I see of him post Congress, and I didn't like him to begin with, but he has been awful, and petty. And the amount of bad judgment he had during his brief time as speaker, just outrageous. It is just scumbags on scumbags on scumbags today.
Hey, Sarah, there's more show.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Are we still talking? We have more
Yeah,
talking?
we're still talking. The talking goes on, but that's only for the people who are inside the Velvet Rope, the Bulwark Plus members.
Oh, they got to subscribe.
Yeah, tell them to subscribe. Tell the
You should
people,
subscribe,
Sarah.
Guys. Why wouldn't you subscribe? You get all kinds of things. You get some extra me and JVL. You get some extra me and George Conway. You get JVL's Triad. This is one of the best things the Bulwark offers. I read it at least once or twice a week.
Yes, go and subscribe. We'd love to have you.